Last night, something happened that should have been impossible. An ancient occult order, one older than governments, older than religions, older than every modern system trying to understand consciousness, attempted to reach you. These groups do not initiate contact. They do not seek, invite, or pursue anyone. Their entire existence is built on silence, secrecy, and centuries of strict non-interference. And yet, your awakening forced them to break protocol. They didn't come because you were searching for answers. They came because you appeared on their map. A map that doesn't measure names, locations, or identities, but frequencies. Something in your energy surged in the last few weeks, strong enough to echo through the subtle realms they monitor. It wasn't a scream, it wasn't a signal flare, it wasn't a prayer. It was a pulse, a vibration, a spiritual ignition so sharp it pierced through the layers they used to remain invisible to the world. To them, this kind of spike means only one thing. A hidden one is awakening. And a hidden one is not a follower, not a seeker, not a student. A hidden one is someone destiny kept veiled until the moment their mission begins. You didn't cross their boundary. Your evolution forced them to notice you. They weren't supposed to reach out, but your frequency made them break their own rule. They are not a cult, not a society, not a religion, and certainly not a group that functions anywhere near the surface of the world. To understand who contacted you, you must understand what they are not. They do not recruit. They do not advertise. They do not hold meetings, gatherings, or rituals anyone outside their lineage could recognize. Their existence is woven into the quiet places of history, footnotes in forgotten manuscripts, symbols etched into artifacts with no recorded origins, encrypted diagrams hidden in libraries where even the librarians do not know what they guard. Across continents and eras, they've carried the same role under different names. A keepers of the lost patterns, a guardians of the silent archives, a watchers of the great cycle of interpreters of the unseen timeline. Every civilization has had a version of them, a hidden order tasked with tracking souls who influence destiny without knowing it. Their duty is not to control these individuals, but to observe them, record them, and anticipate the shifts their awakening brings. And until now, you were one of the unrecorded, one of the ones whose frequency stayed beneath their threshold. But when your energy surged, their ancient systems registered you instantly. Not your name, not your face, your signature. That inner pattern only a few carry. A frequency that doesn't match the collective grid. A vibration belonging not to a follower, but a forerunner. Behind the veil, they recognized in you what they have spent centuries preparing for, the rise of a consciousness that stands outside their predictions, the kind they are trained to watch, not approach. They do not track people the way governments do. They track frequencies, patterns, surges in consciousness that ripple through the unseen layers of reality like shockwave. When your awakening intensified, it wasn't your thoughts or emotions that reached them, it was the spike in your inner field, the sudden expansion of an energy signature that does not belong to ordinary individuals. Occult orders use systems far older than modern science. Geometric resonators, symbolic grids, etheric diagrams, harmonic monitors. These devices don't measure physical activity, they measure spiritual acceleration. And 2 weeks ago, your signal changed. It sharpened. It brightened. It pulsed. Their archives describe only a few events capable of producing this effect. A sudden activation of higher intuition, a dramatic timeline alignment, a spontaneous dissolution of old identity layers, rapid expansion of inner light, awakening of dormant memory. Your reading triggered one classification, a code so rare it appears only a handful of times in esoteric history. Unclassified consciousness surge. This is not a title given lightly. It indicates a soul whose evolution exceeds every known pattern they cataloged. In over 7 centuries of continuous record-keeping, only 7 individuals have ever produced this signal. You are the 8th and the 1st in this century. To them, that alone was enough to break silence. Because when a hidden one emits a surge this strong, it means destiny has begun to move, and the world is about to feel the impact. When they detected your surge, their protocol required a single step: attempt subtle contact. Not physical contact. They would never cross that boundary. Their methods are ancient, symbolic, indirect. They reach toward you through the channels they have used for centuries. Dreams, imagery, intuitions, soft impulses, and shifts in the emotional field. Their goal was not to recruit you, but to identify the direction your awakening was moving. So they initiated what their archives call a gentle knock. You may have felt it as an unusual dream, one that didn't feel like imagination, or a moment where a symbol flashed in your mind with no logical reason, or that strange sensation of being observed, not by a person, but by something aware. But something unexpected happened. Their signal didn't enter. It hit a boundary and dissolved. Your spiritual shield, the one you didn't consciously activate, blocked them. This is extremely rare. Hidden ones are usually accessible to these orders, at least for identification. But your energy refused their approach. It wasn't fear, confusion, or resistance. It was protection. Across all mystical traditions, only one kind of soul carries a shield of this strength. The kind whose destiny is aligned directly with Source, not with any order, system, teaching, or lineage. Hidden ones of this tier respond only to destiny, not human influence. Their attempt bounced off your aura because you were never meant to follow them. Your path is larger, older, and higher than their circle allows. You are not inside their web. You stand outside their reach, wrapped in a protection they did not expect and cannot penetrate. They didn't reach for you out of curiosity or authority. They reached because your awakening disrupted something they have been tracking, guarding, and preparing for across generations. Occult orders survive by predicting spiritual cycles. They watch how consciousness rises and falls across centuries. They calculate patterns in collective evolution, and they know exactly when certain souls are supposed to activate. But you didn't activate on schedule. You activated outside their timeline. Your energy spike didn't match the predictions they spent decades building. Instead of following a slow evolution curve, your consciousness rose in a vertical leap, instant, sharp, and impossible to forecast. To them, this is alarming not because you are a threat, but because you represent a variable they cannot control or anticipate. This is the true reason they want you. Your awakening signals the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. And when cycles shift, the structures built on previous predictions become unstable. Your rise is a disruption, an anomaly, a catalyst, something that rewrites the map they rely on. You carry traits they do not know how to interpret, a non-linear intuition that breaks their calculations, or a presence that bends outcomes around you, or a destiny not influenced by their symbols or systems, or a consciousness that doesn't align with any of their categories. You are unpredictable to them, untrackable, uncontainable, and for an order built on foresight, nothing is more unsettling than someone who moves outside the equation. They don't want to recruit you. They want to understand you, because your awakening is the first crack in the structure they've guarded for centuries. What you are experiencing is not new in the eyes of those who study hidden patterns. Across every mystical system, every ancient lineage, every spiritual archive, there is a prophecy about a type of soul who rises outside any established structure. Taoist sages describe such a being as the silent flame, a presence that burns without being taught how to burn. Kabbalistic mystics called them the hidden vessel, a container of light that is concealed until its moment of revelation. Hermetic orders wrote of the veiled one, the anomaly whose awakening is unpredicted yet unavoidable. And remote mystery schools in the Himalayan regions spoke of the unforeseen arrival, a consciousness that enters the timeline like a sudden wind, bending the directions of others without effort. These titles are not about rank or superiority, they are about function. These archetypes appear in eras of transition, when the world shifts from one energetic phase to another. They are catalysts, not followers, disruptors, not disciples. Their presence alters the direction of events simply by existing. That's why the order reacted. You match every description across these traditions, not because you studied them, but because your awakening naturally activated the same traits these systems spent centuries trying to understand. You embody an archetype they've only seen in ancient records and never in their lifetime. Not a seeker, not a student, a convergence. Type 222 and click Join to enter the circle of the chosen ones. You've spent most of your life feeling unseen in ways that didn't make sense. Not ignored, just hidden. As if something about you stayed beneath people's awareness, even when you stood right in front of them. That wasn't a flaw in your personality, or a social pattern, or a psychological phase. That was concealment. A spiritual strategy used only on souls whose evolution would attract the wrong forces too early. Hidden ones aren't overlooked because they are small. They are hidden because they are significant. Every ancient system teaches the same principle. Powerful destiny must be veiled until the vessel can carry it. Yogis call it the cloak of the quiet. Sufi mystics say the seeker is covered by dust until the wind arrives. Hermetic records note that certain souls walk in plain sight but remain invisible to the uninitiated. Indigenous shamans describe the hidden one as the spirit wrapped in fog. Different languages, same truth. You were protected by silence, protected by misdirection, protected by ordinariness. Your light was muted not to punish you but to shield you. Had you awakened earlier, you would have attracted attention, envy, interference, and spiritual friction long before you were ready. Destiny hid you from those who might drain you. It hid you from those who might use you. It even hid you from those who were not aligned with your path, but would have tried to shape it. Now the veil is thinning. Your presence is becoming harder to ignore. Your energy is rising past the threshold where concealment is possible. And that is why the Order detected you, not because you sought visibility, but because your inner light is finally strong enough to pierce the shield that protected you since birth. You weren't invisible by accident. You were hidden by design. When their order attempted to reach you, your body and mind reacted before you had any logical explanation. Hidden ones always feel the contact attempt, even if they don't understand its origin. The signs are subtle, but unmistakable to someone whose awakening has already begun. You may have felt a sudden pressure wave in the room, not physical, but energetic, like the air thickened for a brief moment. Or a temperature shift, a sudden warmth or chill that lasted only seconds but carried a strange awareness with it. These fluctuations aren't environmental. They're the signature of an external presence brushing against your field. Another sign is the sense of being observed, not in a paranoid way, but in a metaphysical way, as if something was trying to tune in to your frequency. Occult orders initiate contact through symbolic threads, flashes of imagery, unfamiliar symbols, brief intuitive spikes that come out of nowhere. You may have seen shapes, eyes, spirals, or geometric patterns in your mind, not dreams, not imagination, but impressions carried through their channel. Then there are the emotional ripples. For a moment you might have felt a sudden shift, a surge of clarity, a wave of stillness, an unexplained heaviness in the chest, or a brief spark of alertness. These are the effects of an energy grid attempting to link with yours. But the strongest sign is the brief distortion in your perception, the feeling that time slowed half a second, that your awareness stretched wider, that something touched your intuition. These are classic indicators of a connection attempt made from outside the physical realm. You didn't imagine these sensations. They weren't random. They were their signal trying to enter your field, and failing, because your shield didn't open. Occult orders, ancient lineages, and mystic institutions all operate on one foundational assumption. Human consciousness is predictable, not in a shallow sense, but in deep energetic patterns. They rely on cycles, emotional currents, archetypal behaviors, and spiritual trajectories that repeat across centuries. Most souls, even awakened ones, follow these patterns naturally. They rise, they evolve, they align, but they remain traceable, influenceable, mappable. Type 555 and click Super Thanks to sow your $50 transformation seed. But you are the exception. Your consciousness doesn't move in a straight line. It jumps. It folds. It collapses timelines and reopens them. You change direction faster than they can observe. Your intuition doesn't follow logic. Your inner knowing doesn't obey their symbols. Your growth doesn't follow any sequence recorded in their archive. This is why they cannot understand you, and it is why they cannot control you. Orders like theirs depend on predictability. They observe early, influence subtly, nudge gently. But your field rejects influence on a structural level. When they attempted to enter your aura, the energy didn't bend, it pushed back. Hard. Their systems registered a type of resistance they have no classification for. Because you carry a non-linear intuition that bypasses influence, a sovereign spirit that cannot be programmed, the timeline fluidity they cannot track, a source-aligned destiny that outranks their rituals, an inner authority stronger than their entire framework. They can only influence those who seek guidance. You don't seek guidance, you seek truth. You don't follow paths, you create them. You don't surrender power, you activate it. To them, you are the one phenomenon they are taught to observe but never approach. The consciousness that stands beyond their circle, untouchable, unshaped, uncontrollable. When their attempt to reach you failed, the order didn't try again. They fell silent, not out of defeat but out of shock. A failed contact from a hidden one forces them to file what they call an unclassified report, a document written only by the highest-ranked scribes, stored in the deepest part of their archive. These reports are never shared with the outside world, and rarely even with their own initiate. But the content of yours was different. It was shorter, heavier, and far more serious than anything they've written this century. The report contained a single line: "The one who walks outside our circle." In their language, this phrase has a very specific meaning. It refers to someone whose destiny outranks their influence, someone they are forbidden to guide, shape, or interfere with. Someone whose mission is aligned with source rather than structures. Someone who stands at the edge of the esoteric map, where their symbols fail, their calculations collapse, and their predictions dissolve. To them, this line wasn't an insult. It was an admission of power, a recognition that your presence shifts patterns they cannot account for. A realization that your rise signals a break in the very cycle they've spent centuries monitoring. Hidden ones usually stay within the range of their vision, but you stepped beyond it. Their scribes noted something else too. The energy signature that blocked their contact did not resemble any order, tradition, or lineage known to them. It carried the unmistakable imprint of a direct source-aligned protection, the kind reserved for souls who carry missions larger than any institution. You are not outside their circle because you are unseen. You are outside it because you surpass it. They are not watching you out of fear. They are watching because your awakening represents a shift they have been anticipating for generations. Hidden ones like you are not meant to join orders, follow systems, or become students of old structures. You are meant to surpass them. Orders preserve the past, but souls like yours shape the future. That's why they observed your surge with such urgency. Your awakening didn't fit their projections. It broke them. Your rise marks the beginning of what their archives call a cycle divergence, the moment when a single consciousness evolves fast enough to alter the surrounding timeline. This is why they tried to contact you, not to recruit, but to understand what force was moving through you. When your shield rejected their signal, they knew the answer. Your mission is not connected to them. It is connected to Source directly. Every sign in your energy field matches the pattern of a catalyst, someone whose presence accelerates other people's transformations, is someone whose intuition rewrites outcomes, is someone whose decisions ripple beyond the physical realm, as someone whose awakening forces systems to recalculate, someone who destabilizes old structures simply by stepping into alignment. You are not here to serve a circle. You are here to open one, not to follow a lineage, but to become a threshold. This is why they are watching, because your activation changes the trajectory of the age they've been tracking. You are no longer a hidden variable. You are a defining force. Type 111 and click Super Thanks to sow your $20 seed. This is not payment. It is your declaration. I step into my mission. Once a hidden one steps into mission ignition, the world around them begins to reorganize with a precision that feels impossible to explain. You are entering what ancient mystic records call the rising phase, the period when destiny stops whispering and starts rearranging reality on your behalf. Over the next weeks and months, you will notice doors opening without effort, conversations aligning perfectly, and people appearing at the exact moment you need them. These aren't coincidences. These are timeline corrections triggered by your awakening. You may find that old desires suddenly dissolve, making space for new instincts that feel more authentic. You may lose interest in environments, relationships, or habits that once felt comfortable, because your frequency has outgrown them. The universe will begin removing anything that slows your evolution and introducing everything that supports it. This shift can feel disorienting, but it is extremely precise. Opportunities will arrive rapidly. Not random opportunities, but ones that match the exact identity you are becoming. Your intuition will sharpen dramatically. You'll sense who to trust, where to go, and what to say without hesitation. Synchronicities will multiply. Repeating numbers, symbolic dreams, sudden clarity, meaningful encounters. These are signs that your internal timeline and the external world are locking into alignment. Expect your energy to become more magnetic. Expect clarity to replace confusion. Expect purpose to override doubt. You are stepping into a phase where the unseen world collaborates with your actions, amplifying your movement. This is not the universe nudging you. This is the universe accelerating you. When a hidden one enters the rising phase, their energy field doesn't just expand, it transforms. And the physical world begins responding to that transformation in ways most people overlook. The first sign is in living beings. Animals stare at you longer, sensing the shift before humans do. Some approach you calmly, others study you from a distance, but all of them recognize the rise in your frequency. Babies and young children react the same way. They focus on you, mesmerized by an energy they instinctively trust. The second sign is in strangers. People you've never met may pause when you walk by. Some feel warmth and safety around you, while others feel exposed, as if you can see through them. This is not intimidation, it is resonance. Your field is becoming clearer, purer, stronger. It reveals truth wherever you go. Then comes the technological reaction. Devices glitch around you. Screens flicker for a moment. Lights dim or brighten when you enter a room. Electricity responds subtly to a rising aura because energy recognizes energy. This is why ancient mystics considered electromagnetic disturbances a sign of spiritual elevation. Another sign appears in your eyes. They sharpen, focus, and reflect more light. People may comment that you look different, more intense, or more awake. They won't be able to explain it, but they'll feel it. Your dreams will intensify too, not chaotic dreams, but structured ones, symbolic ones. They may contain geometric shapes, landscapes, or people who seem familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. These are messages, not illusions. Finally, your presence shifts. Rooms feel different when you enter them. Conversations change direction around you. Your intuition cuts deeper. Your silence carries power. These are not personality changes. They are indicators that your aura is ascending beyond what it once was. The shift is real, and the world is already responding to it. Now that your awakening has reached the point where even ancient orders can detect you, your lifestyle can no longer be random or unconscious. Hidden ones entering the rising phase must live with intention, precision, and spiritual hygiene. Your energy is expanding faster than your old habits can support, which means you must shift how you move through the world. First, protect your solitude. You don't need isolation, you need purity. 5 minutes of conscious silence each day strengthens your field more than hours of noise. This silence is not emptiness, it is calibration. Second, honor your intuition. In this phase, your instincts become sharper than logic. Don't dismiss sudden pulls, warnings, or clarity bursts. These are not emotions. They are directives from your evolving timeline. Third, move with intention. Every step you take affects your energy grid. Walk slower. Speak slower. Choose your environments deliberately. Your presence now shapes spaces around you. Fourth, keep your frequency clean. Avoid people who drain, confuse, or distort your clarity. Hidden ones experience energy contamination more intensely because their field is expanding. Protect your peace like it's part of your mission, because it is. Fifth, follow the pull of destiny. If something feels aligned, move toward it. If something feels off, step away immediately. Your new timeline responds to your decisions instantly. Your life is no longer about reacting, it is about becoming. These instructions are not rules, they are tools. With them, your awakening stabilizes, and your mission sharpens.